Welcome to your free video lesson from TeachUComp Incorporated. Be sure to check out your exclusive discount offer at the end of your free lesson.
The button component, or push button in MX, may very well be one of your most commonly used components when building a Flash movie. It's relatively simple to use and customize, though ActionScript is needed to change themes, fonts, and a few other appearances and behavioral attributes. Button components, not to be confused with button symbols, are commonly used because they're pre-built and require no other components or dynamic information in order to work. You can simply place one on the stage, set the parameters in the Parameters tab of the Properties Inspector, write your action script to have whatever you want the button to do into the Actions panel, or even set a behavior for the button in the Behaviors panel, and then your button will function. So let's take a look at inputting a button component into a Flash document and what we can set. So in order to insert any user interface component, you go to Window from the menu bar and choose Components. In the Components panel under User Interface, you'll see some of the different user interface components, and certainly the button's one of the most popular ones. You can click and drag it from the Components panel onto the stage or into the document library. Because I'd named this thing, which is just a compiled button symbol button, I couldn't use the same name for the same button component, so this one just called it button copy. And once again, when you click on it down in the Properties panel, you can see you can give it an instance name. On the Parameters tab, you can fill in different parameters. Let's take a look at what those are. Now, the icon field is where you can enter the symbol linkage ID of an image from the library panel that you'd like to use as the face for the button. It can be set the same way for icons as for shared assets, and you can use any graphic or movie clip symbol you'd like, but it's got to be small enough to fit in the button, as Flash won't adjust the size for you. Remember that graphic and movie clip symbols must have their linkage set by selecting Properties in the pop-up menu for the symbol. Now, in addition, when creating the symbol, make sure the registration point's in the upper left corner of the symbol, and you may need to modify it somewhat depending on the image, but it's a good starting point. And when an icon is applied to a button component, it's not displayed at authoring time. Instead, a small gray square is put in its location. Now, applying an icon to a button is not an option in MX without directly editing the skins found in the library. Now, you don't have to actually have an icon for your button. It's completely optional. You can just use the interface that's shown and then change the label. So the label field is where you enter the text to be displayed on the button. And this is just a string field, meaning you type the exact word you want to see. String meaning text. Now, the default setting is button or push button in MX, but you can type in whatever you want, like click here. That is shown at author time. The label placement field, which isn't available in MX, has a drop-down menu with 4 options to select where you want the label placement to appear. And it can be right, left, top, or bottom. Selected, which once again is not in MX, corresponds to the toggle field. And this can be either true or false. If it's true, the button will appear to be selected or in an on state by default. The default, however, is false. Most of the time you have to click a button to turn it on. But you can switch it to whatever you need. The toggle field is also a Boolean field. True, false is Boolean. And when it's set to true, the button can be used to turn features on and off. And if it's set to false, the button simply serves to execute a function of some sort, such as loading a new web page into a browser, for example. In MX, there was also called the click handler, then that was part of ActionScript 1.0, and that defines what the function should be called when a visitor clicks the button. Now, this information must be written out in its entirety in ActionScript 2.0 for MX 2004, and the components referred to as fPushButton in ActionScript 1.0 and just button in ActionScript 2. So it'd be really easy to write some ActionScript for it. You'd just make sure it's selected and then go to the Actions panel. And we could say on parenthesis, and then here's the different events. Let's say click. So on click, and then we want to tell it what to do. Let's say get URL. And we'll type in a full URL address, enclosed in double quotes, or single quotes if you prefer. And then window method, just being like underscore blank for a new window, for example. And then you're going to need a closing brace. Alright, so you double check it, look for any ActionScript errors. It's got a syntax error in it. Click OK and look in the errors panel. Alright, I've got my brace and my semicolon transposed. So very simple things like that. Just be careful when you're writing your ActionScript. Now at this point, just see how this movie works. Control test movie. And it should open that Teach Account page using my default web browser, but in a separate window. And that looks like it works out very well.
Thank you. We hope you enjoyed your free video lesson from Teach You Comp Incorporated. Like what you see? Pick up your copy of our complete tutorial today and be sure to visit us at www.teachyoucomp.com/YouTube for your special bonus offer. Our complete tutorial featuring introductory through advanced material is available on CD-ROM or digital download. You will receive our high-quality video lessons plus printable instruction manuals in one easy-to-use training package. With over 24 titles to choose from, you'll be sure to find the training you need in Microsoft Office, QuickBooks, Photoshop, and much more. Visit us today.